So we were just talking about this on the call of the problems, all these problems that men and women have. And so much of it comes out of the fact that we cannot accept that it's the man's responsibility to initiate any sort of sexual courtship, whatever it is, with a woman. And think about this, that you as a man, if you're a man listening to this, that it's your responsibility to begin this whole thing. And there's so many problems that come from that. If we just look at the men's perspective, like men get all pissed off, like women dress up and I have to go and talk to them and they want it, but I don't know how. And this and that and the other thing. And like, it's all fucked up. And you don't realize the power you have. That's amazing. That's fucking amazing. You not only know that it's your job to make the first move, but it's actually an advantage that you have as well. But the guys that can't do it, it comes into this like ultimate frustration of why can't women do this for me? And then there's this other side to it that's coming from a totally different side where it's like, oh my God, why does the pressure have to be on me? Why is it? Or this denial that it shouldn't be on me, or somehow men shouldn't have to do all the work. Or then there's this even other layer to it that it's like, oh, well, we have to do the work there. What women need to realize is they then need to learn their roles. And see, it's crazy because just because, our society and culture and who knows why, there could be an evolutionary reason, and probably fucking is. I'm actually very certain of it, but this gets misinterpreted all the time, especially by the pickup community and the different fucking bullshit men's groups that don't get sex. Like, man, that's the problem. If you're in a fucking men's group and you have not had extensive relationship experience, you don't have friends. For one, you haven't had relationships and you're not actively having sex, and good sex, not sex that's dependent upon control or belittling somebody. You should not be getting advice or congregating with other people like that who are giving advice. That's just a fucking terrible place to be. But that all being said, when we think about, that role that society's given us, because our evolutionary and our biological drives are a bit different. They're not exactly how they're mapped out in society of us taking charge with it. I'm sure we do in many different ways, but not specifically in all these roles that culture gave us. That doesn't mean that we get to define roles for other people. But what it does mean is that we should fit into the roles within our culture. And that culture is dependent upon, one, the individual, two, their immediate surroundings, and three, then the overall zeitgeist of the culture, of the ebb and flow of society. And so what's so amazing about that is the decision of sex. And let's kind of just go off on this tangent for a little bit. But the decision of sex is a unique personal decision. And this is what people don't fucking get, man. People on those fucking groups, the feminist groups, the men's rights groups, which are the same fucking thing, just on opposite sides, but they're acting in the exact same ways, man. They're gossiping, they're categorizing, they're trying to control each other in the same ways, they're trying to degrade, they're fighting for dominance, and it's like, who's better, the man or the woman, or whatever the fuck it is, and then these hardcore definitions. What we don't realize is in any empathetic, let alone sexual exchange with somebody, it is dependent upon two individuals. It is dependent upon that is the most important thing. So if I am talking to you, and take notes on this, if you don't understand it, if I'm talking to you, you and me are the most powerful parts of this conversation. Yet so many people make their sex lives about what other people say that should be, what the social definition is supposed to be, and the coulda, the shoulda, those supposed tos, all this direction, which is actually taking away from your own independence, taking away from who you are, and taking away from your individual self, your masculinity, your individual thoughts, your individual brains, all dependent on somebody else's thought. That's so fucking dumb because that's the argument that everybody uses, right? Is that it's supposed to protect this shit in some sort of way. And then the second most important thing is how I live my life, who I'm around, right? Then that's the second part of the decision, or the far second most important part of that decision. So the first thing is the individuals. The second thing is basically our immediate culture. And the third thing is how we live, So maybe how we live in America might be very different than how people live in Saudi Arabia or in Argentina or in Samoa. All these have very different overall cultures. But then what's going to shape our decisions is our immediate culture, the 5-10 people that we hang around with most. But the most important decision, which throws it all out, which allows us to make the rules for ourselves, is this communication right here. Me and you. And man, That's a fucking awesome place to be in. So guys, in order to get to that part where it's you and me talking being the most important thing, man, that's pretty awesome. You know, it's pretty awesome. I have like 50%, and it doesn't really work that way, but I am half of this one conversation. Sex, two different things coming together to make one new thing. So of this one connection that we have, whether it's empathetic and rapport and connecting, and it's not sexual, or it is sexual, we're now this one thing, and I'm half of it. I'm a part of it. And that those two parts make this new thing. If I want to get there, take the lead. If I want to get there, take the initiation and empower it. Stop bitching about it. Stop thinking that you're owed something and start manning up and going out and doing it. Whether society wrote that wrongly or correctly or whatever, you take that lead. Learn how to approach somebody. Learn how to assert your ideas. Learn how to bring something up. Learn how to make conversation. Learn how to make connection. Learn the importance of what it means to express yourself and allow the opportunity for somebody to come back to you. Man, that's amazing. And the more that we think about it as control or manipulation or, pinning something down or gaining power in order to express, it's no longer expression, it's no longer connection. And it leads more and more and more into this level of, you could say violence. The absolute opposite definition of two things coming together that isn't connection is violence. Man, and why would you want that, right? That has its time and its place in human dynamics, and it's not one that I shape my social life, my sexual life, and my identity is a social and sexual being by. In any case, know that you take the lead, realize what advantage that is, and start seeing and valuing your connections is far, far beyond, the limitations of your fears. Because that's what all your rules are about.